The holiday season is fast approaching us, and many travelers are wondering if they should travel at all to see their families, and if they do, can they do it safely? Check out this week's video on our 5 tips that you can safely travel this holiday season. Hey Basic Travelers, it's another Travel Tips Tuesday. If you are new to our channel, please make sure you subscribe to both our Facebook and our Instagram for daily content. And we kindly ask that you please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notifications button so that you never miss any of our weekly content. Like many US industries, the travel industry was hit the hardest during the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. The industry as a whole had to take an adapt or die mentality. And some of the current initiatives that you see in customer hygiene and sanitation that were born out of necessity from the COVID-19 pandemic may be sticking around for a while. But while this is happening, what are some things that you can do to protect yourself if you must travel during the holiday season? Number 1, your first line of defense is to simply analyze your mode of transportation. If you have a mid-sized drive, like let's say 6 hours or so, think about driving instead of flying, as there's a lot of implications other than safety and COVID that you could think about for savings. You won't have to pay for bag fees. You can fill a car full of as many people as you can fit. This is something you should think about in respect to the fact that you can basically control your whole situation for your entire drive. Yes, you might have to stop at gas stations and possibly even a hotel, but your point of contact with other passengers doesn't involve an airport or a crowded plane, so something to consider. Number 2. Choose an airline that's committed to spacing out passengers or try to get creative. Airlines like Alaska and Delta are committing to blocking middle seats until the end of 2020. Other airlines, well, they've pretty much resumed normal operations, so you might have to get a little bit creative. If you're flying low-budget airlines, such as Spirit or Frontier, you can swipe up seats sometimes for as low as $20, $30, or $40. And this may seem silly to have to buy an extra airline seat, but it might be worth it to create your own little bubble of sanity that you can control, especially if you're traveling with a companion. Then at that point, you have the aisle and the window seat blocked and the middle to yourself to spread out and keep your own safety bubble. Number 3, do some research on your aircraft. There are a lot of aircrafts that fly across a lot of different carriers. What you should pay attention to when you're looking is the type of aircraft that you're booking. Often it'll come with a code. For example, a 77W on American Airlines equates to a wide-body jet. And there's a couple of implications here. Sometimes this equates to an older plane and generally has more space and more seats. Now, where this would come in handy is if you're on a flight where it's not particularly crowded, you may have the option to switch seats if you don't love your neighbor's situation and maybe they're not following the protocols that you would necessarily follow. Number 4, redeem some points and treat yourself. Look, as avid points collectors, we definitely want to save our points for the most valuable redemption opportunities. But in these trying times, when we're not traveling as much and we're looking for travel safely when we do, you might want to consider cashing in some of those hard-earned points on a flight that has a domestic first class or business class situation. If the leg is long enough, like let's say you need to make a cross-coastal trip from New York to Los Angeles, there are awesome redemption opportunities on certain airlines where you can find that not only will you get a great value and have great safety, but you'll really enjoy the experience as well. And maybe the experience is not exactly what it was before COVID, but you'll definitely enjoy the treat and you'll enjoy the redemption. You will also be the first on and off of the plane. So you were traveling with a companion. Generally, the seating configuration is 2 apiece, so you'll have that entire row to yourself. You may be surprised what opportunities are out there, so research now as quick as you can before the holiday season arrives. Number 5, try and be flexible. Now I know this is the last thing any of us want to worry about during a holiday season is being flexible with our travel plans. Most of us make these 6 months in advance, lock them in, and don't want to have to worry about them again. But like everything is agile at this point. Carriers like Southwest were ahead of the game a long time ago when they eliminated change fees on flights. And it took a pandemic for some other ones. But I digress. Most major carriers have now relaxed or eliminated their change fees altogether. With these new policies in place, you now have the power to start looking at your flight map closer to your departure date. for not only better sitting locations, but maybe a flight later or earlier in the day that better suits your needs to be comfortable. Even on my most recent flight I took on United, the day of departure I received an email saying my flight was scheduled to be particularly full, and if I wanted to change it, they would either let me change it for free the same day or issue me a travel credit for the future. So in this respect, airlines are definitely not like they used to be with ironclad terminology. So what do you think, basic travelers? Are you planning on traveling this holiday season? And if you are, what kind of creative situations have you come up with to keep safe? Let us know in the comments below or over in our 4,000 plus member Facebook group. We'll see you next week, basic travelers.